Welcome to Trading Lounge and the gold silver report for the 19th of April. Just looking at the weekly chart here for gold, and the reason for this is just really to have a quick look at the volume here. So this is how it finished off last week here. So didn't really have increasing volume. We had about the same volume with the market pushing up, so that's kind of positive. We can also see too that the 18 is the next level that we're working with, and you can see that it's kind of important in its history here for this. So this week getting support or not on top of that will be a bit of a deciding factor, because calling lows in is a little bit and tops in can be a little bit tricky, so we need to pay extra attention to the details. So yeah, let's just see this week if we get increased volume, because for a trend to be a trend we need increasing volume, and if we don't get that, we see the market moving up but on lower volume, then that's divergence and that's weakness coming into the market. So we'll keep an eye on that. But just looking at it in a positive light today, we'll just come in and look at the bottom area through here. Counting up as we did through last week here. So we noted this as a impulse wave, and then a corrective wave pulling back to the 50-60% roughly, and then we started counting. Well, we knew we had this little impulse wave here, so we looked at going long above here. So we're just really observing it. It's moving along quite nicely, would say. Still has a long way to go in a nutshell. I mean, for it to be a wave 3, at minimum we would want to see it be no smaller than the first wave here. That will take it to 18 here. So that's likely to the 18 is likely to see a correction at that point. So we'd still need this fifth wave here to show us a little bit of strength, you know. But just noting that after this, once we count these 5 waves here, that can also be some type of corrective pattern for wave C. So we will need to be very careful once this comes in here. So any short-term trades we've got, we want to be looking at locking some of them in, perhaps at the 1800, which would be a logical safe bet on that. So yeah, 2 things. The volume we want to see, I mean, we really want to see increasing volume into the third wave, and I have to say we didn't really get it. But we didn't get less either, so we'll just run with it for a little while. We want this wave 3 to show us a bit of an extension compared to wave 1. We're sort of seeing it a little bit, but once we understand the wave count here, we'll understand that it's looking a little bit short as well. So this wave 3 can come in somewhere up here, but we'll check on that in a moment. So we really want it to play out across the 14,000. I mean, I suppose we could count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here and then call it wave 1. So instead of having wave 1 here, we can have wave 1 up here with wave 2. So that's possible as well. So I'll be mindful of that as well. So let's just cruise into the 1 hour chart here, so we can put the stop. We're looking for that to move up there. We're in group 2 now, so from the midpoint, the 750 here, we go up to 8, the 780, but we also put in group 2, the 772, and also the 65 there as well. So now that it's in group 2, it should have support, so we should see this market push up into the 18. 18 is a profit taking number, so we're likely to see it come back as well before pushing up there. So once you understand that, it makes life a little bit easier, but we just need to go to the intraday. So we'll go to the tick chart. But just before I do, so when we get up here to wave 5 here, wherever that may be, it can be wave 3 or it can be wave C. In fact, it could also be wave 1 as well, just to be fair, and coming back for wave 2 at that point. So we get a stronger third wave come into play. So anyway, I'll put that in the backdrop really, just to remind us, but not to take it seriously at this point. But we do want to see this structure longer than wave 1 here. So we need to understand this structure here. So for that, we'll just go to the tick chart. So wave 1 and wave 2 to here, then wave 1 as we looked at last week for that. We'll be able to use these over here for wave 4, so I'll just bring these across. So yeah, just counting this up here, I was having a bit of a look at it. I've got wave 1 sitting here. Maybe I need to mull that over a little bit, but I think it's sat sort of okay-ish. Because it's a nice impulse wave, isn't it? But this move down here also looked like impulsive, so I was treating that as wave A, B, and C here for wave 2 at this point, and then wave 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for 1 with an A and a B and a C back for 2. So that's how I've got that, and then wave 1 here and 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, fourth wave, and fifth wave. So for what it's worth, that's how I've labeled it, and I've ended up with 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here in light blue for 5 for 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 and 2. I'm looking at this as wave 3 here with an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here for wave 4. So we want wave 5 to push up there. It's possible that wave 5 could go there, but I doubt it. We'll just let that play out a little further. So look, it'd be nice if we reach the 1800, but I don't know if we will or not. But I'll just space that out, and your job would be to try to count 5 waves in here and see if it gets you. But just remember that 18 is a profit taking number, so this is a good place to take some profit as well here. And then we'll be looking for some sort of ABC for wave 4 to come into play. So we'll look at that tomorrow, how that plays out, and then wave 5 somewhere up into group 2 here, 10, 20, and 30, up into this space. Somewhere there, and then that's the cruncher at this point, you know. If we can note that we can have this as a corrective pattern, and we can see that by sort of going above this or something, some way of recognizing that it's bullish corrective, then we know that we're going to be in a bull run from that point. But this is the point where that it can turn bearish at this stage. Okay, so in a nutshell, in the bigger picture, what it will be the market trying to find support or not, being accepted or rejected by this number here. And when we're working with this number, there's a little bit of space that we need to take into consideration, and that's group 2 below and group 1 above here, because tested support on top of 1830 will send us higher. It can trade above the 1830, but finding support on it with the classic trading levels pattern is really what you'd be looking for to, so if that was the 1830 here, then you would need that, you know, the arrival, the reaction. You'd need support over there, because what this does, the 1830 or the number 3, would stop the market being pulled by the closest, largest number, and in this case, the 1800 here. So we should expect some sort of correction across this level here anyway. So if you've overcommitted to the market, make sure that you take some off at that point there. I'll leave the stop out of the way because we're taking some profit off here, but we do need to survive any larger wave 4 that comes into play at that point. And one way you can get some idea of that is from this blue wave 2 low to the top here. I'll just take it to 1820, but you can adjust it, and that's the 38.2% there. So coming back into the top end of group 2, yeah, so that's what we'll look at that point. So yeah, I'd be interested in, I know that gold stocks have moved off, and you know, the gold fanatic folks are already in the market, and rightly so. I'm just going to wait for me, because I'm a little bit different in that regard. I'm not that sort of bothered, but once I realize that this is corrective here, then I'll enter into gold stocks. But by all means, you can be in them already, but don't get in them at this point here. You may, if you're not in them now, wait for this to come into play. Silver is the same really. Let's just take a quick look at silver. So let's just assume for a moment, and assume is the right word, that we're looking at a low for silver here. This is the 4-hour chart, and we're looking at wave 1 here and 2 here, and it can easily be an ABC, but wave 1 and 2, and we'd be looking for wave 3 to come into play, or wave C to come into play here. So we'll just see how that plays out. We'll take a closer look at this, of course. So the wave 1 here, we've been, counting away and so on and so on. And we got our correction back, and then we decided to buy new highs at this point here. And can move the stop up to this point, get it a little bit closer to that. It's not looking that powerful. It's getting a bit of form though. We've got 5 little waves here for wave 1 and 2 here. And then maybe I need to go to the tick chart to look at that, but it looks like the 3rd wave here, the 4th wave and the 5th wave. So we've got the 3rd wave here, we've got the 4th wave here, and we've got the 5th wave that we need to move up at that point there. So if you're going to take any profit or percentages, it would be at that point. So once again, this is also group 1 in here, so we can, I'll just put the number 3 in there, which is on there. We'd need to trade above that, so we'd probably, I'll put the midpoint in, so that would probably be the target that we're looking for, the 2650 area there. So that's it really. I mean, technically that's a nice little classic trading level pattern here, isn't it? The arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, the ABC pattern, and normally would go long from that point there. Scalpers could do that. I won't put it in as a trade as such, but so really that's about it, folks. Let's just see how this week plays out. We do want to see that increased volume though, Once the market trades up here, starts to push up here, then you can move that stop up to this point, but it's likely to fold back in a bigger picture here. It's just too small to be wave 3 at this point by the looks of it. I mean, if we're looking at the length of wave 1 here, say from here to here for wave 1 just roughly, then move that and put that there. So we need to be above that at least for it to be a wave 3. Otherwise we'll have to call it a wave C if it's shorter. Anyway, we'll keep figuring it out. We'll go step by step, but yeah, just consider taking some money off the table at this point here because you could get trapped. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.